Alrighty, lesson number 2 of plane geometry similarity. Now we're going to find out the area of a circle. All right, so Professor Smart's teaching her students how the formula for the area of a circle was derived. She had a piece of pizza. She cut it into equal pieces and arranged them below. So let's go ahead and make this the radius. Except let's not go up and down. Let's go sideways here. And we're going to say that's 3. So let's say the radius is 3, the diameter is 6, and the circumference, we're going to have to find that. And to find it, remember it was pi times d was the circumference. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and do that on my calculator real quick so I can make this make sense to you. 3.14 times 6 is 18.84. Okay. All right, I made those numbers up just so I could show you, okay? All right, so over here they've cut the pizza into quadrants. And this, okay, that is the radius. Maybe you see it, maybe you don't. If I was you, I would have a hard time seeing it, but that is the radius. That is the halfway of the pizza. Why? Because look, there's your piece of pizza, and where's the tip of it? Right in the middle. Is that not your piece of pizza right there? So let me highlight for you. Maybe I can, all right, you see your piece of pizza? Is that not the radius right there? That one little, I'm gonna make it red this time, that round right there? That's the halfway point, so that's the radius, okay? So that is the radius. All right? That looks cool. I wonder what this one looks like. Ooh, that's bad. That ain't good. I kind of like riding with that one. I'm going to start riding with that one. Heck yeah, that looks cool. All right. Anyhow. All right, so that's the radius. Now, can I rearrange these? Can I take that one over there? Let's see. No. All right, let me go back to my pencils. All right, here we go. This next one okay, that is 1/2 of the circumference. Because the circumference is all the way around. So this is half of it. Where's the other half? It's up top, okay? The other half is right there, okay? So that little part right there was the circumference on the bottom down there. So it is half of the circumference because it's halfway around and the other half's up top. Now, let's go answer our questions and then we'll come back to the A's up there at the top. What general 2D figure does this look like? I didn't draw that equally there. Okay, yeah, a rectangle, but it's kind of, see how it's turned a little bit? Do y'all remember what shape it is? It's called a parallelogram. It looks like a parallelogram. Is it exactly? No, but it is close. And what is the formula for that area? I don't know if you remember, but it was area equals base times height, aka length times width, whichever way you were taught and remember it. All right, let's answer B, then we'll go back and do the areas up there at the top. Based on the diagram above, how is the circumference of the circle related to the length? Well, the length of the base, all right, base of the parallelogram, is equal to half of the circumference. All right, so the length of the base of the parallelogram is equal to half of the circumference. All right, I'll zoom out in a second and let you get the rest of that, but let's go solve for the areas. What he says is the area of a circle is half of the circumference times the radius, which is the same as area times base times height, because he says this is the base and this is the height. That's what he said. So he says that half C times R should give us the right answer. Let's check and see. Okay, so over here, I'm going to do half. We done said the circumference was 18.84. Remember over here, we done solved it. We made up numbers, okay? I'm going to have more room to write, so let's find a place. Half times the radius. I'm running out of room still. Boy, where can I write this? All right, right here. Here we go. Half, and the radius was 3. So let's enter this into our calculator and see what we get. You're going to get 28.26. That is the area of my made-up circle that I made up over here. Okay, that's the correct area. So he is correct. Another way to write it is 1/2 times 2 times pi times r times r. Why is all that there? Because let's follow along. There are 2 r's. Why? Because 2 r's make 1 diameter. Okay. And then if you go, the reason that works is because these make the circumference. Whoops, excuse me, I went too far. That makes the circumference, right? 2r times pi makes the circumference. So those equal that, and then you have your 1 more r that's left. So it's the same exact thing except broken apart for just knowing the radius. And if you were to work that out, we're going to work that out in green below it. So it's 1/2 times 2. I'll just do the dots. Times pi, which is 3.14, times the radius times the radius. Enter all of that into your calculator, and guess what you're going to get? 28.26. Same thing. And then the way that we're actually going to do it, that we're going to remember it, is pi r squared, which is the same thing as pi times r squared. Okay? Those are the same things. All right, so that's the way that we are going to actually do it. But we wanted to show you how they came to the conclusion that all that works. Okay, because if you took a circle apart, it's basically the same thing as a parallelogram. So it is base times height. Well, what is the base of a circle? It's half circumference. Height is radius. All right? But all you have to remember is that one in blue, so make a note of that. All right, I'm going to zoom out, let you copy whatever you missed there, and play the first two songs. Continued, song continued here. All right, next song, song number 2. Song continued. All right. Moving down. All right, let's talk about the area of a circle. All right, area is the surface measurement of a 2D figure. So it's like you make a flower bed. How much soil do you need in it? At the top, okay? That's the area. It is the square units that cover a circle. The formula that we're going to use is area equals pi r squared, where r squared is equal to r times r. You should know what squared means. Squared means r times r. So in the case above, it was 3 times 3 is 9. All right, let me get a calculator of yours. All right, you do have a squared button on your calculator. It is over there beside the 7. So if you hit that button, it will square for you, okay? It's the button beside the 7. You see it? All right. The formula to find the area of the circle is area equals pi r squared. So let's plug in the values that we have. Okay, area, we don't have it. We know pi is 3.14. We know we're going to multiply. R squared, what is r squared? The radius is 3, so it's 3 squared. So in your calculator, you would go 3.14 times 3, and then you would hit the button beside the 7 that squares it, and your answer would be 28.26 inches squared. Area is squared. Hopefully you remember that. Okay, if you don't, then oh well. All right, in terms of pi, it would be area equals 9 pi. Where do we get 9 pi? Because 3 squared is 9. So instead of doing 3 squared, you could just multiply it by 9 and you would get the same exact thing. Because 3 squared is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. All right, the next one is the same problem. Area equals pi r squared. Well, they don't give us r this time, but hey, guess what? We can find it. If the diameter is 10, the radius is 5. Okay? So now we can just plug in all of our stuff. Area equals pi times radius squared, which was 5. All right, where did that come from? What is 5 squared? It's 25. You don't have to do that all the time. You're not going to have to do this on a test, but I'm just showing you in case, okay? But in your calculator, you will need to do what I've highlighted in blue. 3.14 times 5 squared. So in your calculator, go 3.14 times 5 and then hit that squared button beside 7. And you're going to get 78.5. We were talking about centimeters, and since we're talking about area, it's squared. If you don't put the squared part, you will miss it. That is important. All right. The last one, same exact thing. Area equals pi times r squared. Just plug in all of your values. 3.14 times r squared, which is 6 squared. In terms of pi, it's 36 pi. Why? Because 6 squared is 36. So your answer is going to be 3.14 times 6 squared. And it's going to be 113.04. It is meters squared. Why is it meters? Because they use that. And anytime you're talking about area in any circle, square, it don't matter, it's squared. Area is always squared. All right. I'm going to play song number 3. This is going to be song number 3. I will zoom out. It doesn't matter if I zoom out because you're not going to get all that, but I will play song 3. Here we go. We were right till we weren't. Here's part number 2 of it, same song. I can buy myself flowers. All right. A circle has an area, so now they've given us the area of the circle. So it's still the same formula, guys. It's still area equals pi times r squared. But now, instead of r, they've given us the different number. They've given us the area, so it's 78.5 equals pi is 3.14, by the way, r squared. So how do we get rid of this? Well, you're still going to divide by that number there. Don't let that squared throw you off. Those are going to go away. You're going to be left with r squared equals, and you're going to do 78.5 divided by 3.14 is 25. Now, how do I get rid of the squared from the r? Well, squared means what is the square root? All right, watch this. So what is the square root of 25? And I'll show you how to do that in your calculator in just a second. The square root of 25 is 5. So 5 equals r. That's an r, not a 5. All right. So all you need to do, r2 times 5. So 5 squared is 25. So what's the opposite of that? 25. What is squared of 25? What number times itself makes 25? All right, so when you have what I have circled in red right there and you need to get rid of it, you have to take the square root. How do you do that on your calculator? So on your calculator, hit 25, hit the second button, which makes it blue, and then hit the squared button, which is beside 7. Let's do that again. You got to hit that first. Hit the blue button, clear your screen. Hit the blue button, hit the button beside 7, just square it. It's going to open a parentheses looking thing, hit 25, and and then close your parentheses, which is above 9, and then hit enter, and it'll give you 5. That means 5 times 5 is 25. So what is the radius of this circle? It is 5 inches. It's not asking what the area is, so the answer is not squared, okay? They're just asking what the radius is. The radius is not squared. We're going to do the same thing, okay? Again, the circular sprinkler system has an area of 28.26, okay? So area equals pi times r. We know that the area is 28.26. We know that pi is 3.14. And we know we're looking for r. Same process as earlier, just divide by 3.14. Those go away. I forgot my squared out there, my bad. And you're left with 9 equals r squared. And to get rid of that, you take the square root of both. What is the square root of both? What number times itself gives you 9? Or if you don't know, go in your calculator, hit the second button at the top left, hit the square button beside 7. It's going to open a parenthesis, type in 9, close that parenthesis, and hit enter. And your answer is going to be 3 equals r. So the radius is 3 yards. I'm going to play song number 4. Song continued, coming right up. All right. Number 3. Jada says that if you are given the circumference of a circle, you have enough info to find the area of the circle. Is she correct? If I have the circumference, do I have enough info? I do. She is correct. Why? I thought I needed radius. And to know the radius, I have to know the diameter. Right? You're right. But like we did yesterday, if the circumference is 10, I don't know what it is, can we not find the diameter? Did we not do that right there yesterday? We did, okay? We just divide by 3.14, and then guess what we know? It'll give us the diameter of whatever it is, okay? So it is enough info. If they give you the radius, the diameter, or the circumference of a circle, you have enough info. So the correct answer is, I'm going to write this on my fancy pen. Jada is correct. And the reason is, I'm going to write this in green, to find the area, you need the radius if given the circumference you can work backwards to find diameter, then radius. I'm going to play another song. It'll be song number 5. While you're writing that, song number 5. Song continue. Watch me. Number 4, determine whether the area of the circumference is described by what's below. The amount of fencing around a garden, okay, is that area or circumference? That is going to be circumference. The fence around. We talked about that yesterday. The amount of frosting needed for a cupcake, so it's going to cover the entire top of the cupcake. That is the area. The amount of crust needed to cover a pie. Again, it's going to cover the entire pie. You don't want crust just on the edges. You want it on the whole bottom of the pie. So that's area. The distance traveled in one lap around a track, that's obviously circumference because you're going around the edge. Song number 6. Song's gonna finish. All right, go down to the bottom. It says use those images, those 2 circles right there to solve what's below. So there's 2 different trees that are being planted. Each tree requires a specific amount of space for the roots. How much more space will the big one require over the small one? Well, first of all, we need to find area. We need to know, because we're looking for how much roots. So the roots are going to grow like this, right? And they're telling us that's how far they're going to go. That's how much room the roots need to be able to go. So that's why they drew it in a circle, because the roots are going to go out from the tree. The tree's in the middle, and the roots are going to go out all over the place. Okay, that's how roots work. All right. Now, to find the area, we need the radius. Well, we already have the radius of that one, but we don't have the radius of the other one. What is the radius? If the diameter is 18, the radius is, so I'm going to do that, make my own, is 8. Okay? So now we have the radius, and it's 8. So one of them has a radius of 8. The other one has a radius of 9. All right. So here's what I know. I know that I'm going to write in my fancy pen. Tree 1, radius of 8 feet. Tree 2, I'll do tree 2 in blue. Radius of 9 feet. Tree 1, radius of 8 feet. Tree 2, radius of 9 feet. What do I need to know? I need to know how many more square feet tree 2 requires. I need to know how many more square feet tree 2 requires. All right, so let's work them out. Tree 1. Remember, area is pi r squared. And in this case, r was what, 8? All right, so I'm going to draw me a line so I can separate them, by the way. All right, so I just need to work that out. Pi is 3.14 times 8 squared. Enter that in your calculator. However you, 8 squared is 64, so you can do 3.14 times 64, or you can enter it all in your calculator. I'm good with that. So in your calculator, you would go 3.14 times 8, and then press the button beside 7 to square it, and you're going to get area equals 200.96, and we're talking about feet squared. All right, tree 2, same formula, nothing's changed with the formula. except this time the radius was 9. Now you're just going to solve in just like you did. Okay, so it's pi times 9 squared. So enter that in your calculator. And you're going to get area equals 254.34. And remember, we're talking about feet, so it's feet squared. And it said, how much more room do you need? So you're going to need to subtract those. So you're going to need to go 254.34 minus, because that's tree 2, minus tree 1, which is 200.96. Subtract them, and you're going to get 50, whoops. You're going to get 53.38 feet squared. So the answer is tree 2 will cover 53.38 feet squared more than tree 1. All right, I'll zoom out. I'll play song 7. So there'll be 7 songs today. All right, I'll let the song finish. All right, adios, amigos. I'll see you on the flip side.